Hello, BookTube. I've got a little bit of mail for you today that I thought we'd rummage through on what is turning out to be an oddly busy day. I don't usually have oddly busy days. I sometimes have very non-oddly busy days, days where I know what the busyness is going to be. And it's just a question of when I will do it, how I will do it, how long each bit will take. But Today has been weird. Today has had left curves to throw, and I get the strong feeling that it's not done yet. On top of all that, there's this ridiculous weather forecast that I don't believe it. I simply don't believe it, but it isn't going away, and it's everywhere, every forecast. It's not as cataclysmic as what the west coast of the United States is experiencing right now. The northern west coast is experiencing an unbelievable snowstorm. 8 feet of snow is predicted to fall in some parts of the Sierra Madres. That is just incredible. 8 feet of snow. Imagine that. If you're standing there, you would be completely buried by the time the snow stopped. But nevertheless, the forecast for the eastern seacoast for Boston is, I forget even the last time I checked, it's like a solid week of rain. It's supposed to rain. It's supposed to start raining tonight and keep going on and off, but mostly on until Sunday afternoon. Next Sunday afternoon. I don't believe that. That is not possible. But it's the only game in town. It's the only thing, and I guess maybe that's adding to the weird squarely nature of the day. The day feels very willful. I like my days to feel very subordinate, but this feels very willful. It has been requiring quite a bit of bean time to straighten it all out. So what do we got here for mail? We have a couple of packages and a periodical. The periodical is the TLS, the London Times Literary Supplement, the greatest literary review journal of them all. And this one has a cover about Sir Keir Starmer. The lead-off review in this thing, the big headline review. Once again, this new TLS does not have newsprint paper. It's a higher quality paper. It's stiffer, harder to write on. It certainly has to be more expensive to use. I can't say that I like it. But the lead-off article here, it's like dealing with magazine paper, is Fintan O'Toole reviewing Tom Baldwin's new biography of Sir Keir Starmer, who, absent a lightning storm, will be the next Prime Minister of the UK and will oversee quite a bit of momentous change in the UK. Quite a bit. I would think, even if he is Prime Minister for a very little amount of time, and since he never thinks or says anything, he could be in the job for a long time. But I believe that during his tenure, quite a few major things will happen in UK history. Quite a few. If I had to make some quick guesses, I would say one. Sirens will be abolished. One, Keir Starmer's premiership will coincide with the death of a king. Two, he will oversee an independent Scotland. And three, he will be Prime Minister when England severs diplomatic ties with the United States. If any one of those three things happens, it will make his premiership a thing for the history books. But I saw this and immediately became covetous because some of you may have seen on Open Letters Review, our very own Joe Spivey has started writing book reviews. I don't think it's wrong for me to say that I think he has the bug for it. I think he likes it, likes doing it. He is a complete natural at it, and he's right over there in the UK. So I will hope that he will get a copy of this book and review it for Open Letters, because I'm only going to have him for a little while. We're just feathering a nest here, as Open Letters Review and before it Open Letters Monthly have been doing for the better part of 2 decades. We're just feathering a nest here until he has enough work to launch himself into places that he belongs, the major venues where he belongs. But of course, I looked at the letters page. And I admit, I looked at the letters page for one particular reason this time around, which was that ongoing little debate about whether or not the poems of Horace were sung. The poems of the Roman poet Horace, did people sing them? I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt they did, but there was a huge amount of debate back and forth. But that is gone. The editors of the TLS must have thought that had run its course. But there is a reply that I wanted to read out to you. This is a letter from Elizabeth Ladenson. What was it in my letter about the inconsistencies in Proust, I wonder, that made Richard Davenport Hines so angry as to look up my profile in order to sneer knowingly at the proposed subtitle of an as yet non-existent book? In answer to his question, I have not forgotten that In Search of Lost Time is a novel. I may well be like a cavilling bookkeeper with a mundane, hamstrung mind, as he suggests, but I still don't see why fiction, fictional though it is, should not be expected to remain internally consistent, nor why discussing ways in which great novels depart from internal consistency should elicit such frothing indignation. I want to point out two things here. One is nitpicky, which is that as yet non-existent is a tautology. Thing either exists or it doesn't exist. You can just use non-existent. Don't say have as yet non-existent. But the main thing I want to point out is that I would like to answer Elizabeth Ladenson's question. She asks why her simply questioning inconsistencies in Proust would cause Richard Davenport Hines to indulge in such frothing indignation. I have an answer to that question that I am almost certain is correct. And that answer is, well, it's which bathroom Elizabeth Ladenson goes into. It's that she's a woman. I'm going to guess that. We'll see if Richard Davenport Hines writes back. I bet he doesn't. But anyway, that is just a glimpse of the TLS. I don't like this new paper stock, but I just got the thing today, so I'll be deeply exploring it, pen in hand, as soon as I get a chance. But my imaginary booktube friends come first. So let's look at the mail. No boxes this time around, no elaborate gifts, no nothing like that. Just a couple of packages here to see us through, and then if more come, I will just make another video. That's all. What is this? Oh, gross. I touched an invoice. Fantastic. Okay, great. This comes out in late June. This is by Ray Kurzweil, some of you will know, and this is his new book. The subtitle is When We Merge with AI, and the title is The Singularity is Nearer. And you would think that a popular referenced author would have too much embarrassment to use this as the title of his book. Because, of course, Ray Kurzweil is the author of a book from, I think, 150 years ago called The Singularity is Near. The singularity was not near when he wrote that book. It wasn't anywhere near. It isn't near now. But when he wrote a book called The Singularity is Near about some weird, nebulous, dude bro concept of humans and technology merging together so that finally chance is taken out of human reproduction and we can just make boys or whatever. And here he is referencing the title of his own book, even though that book, it would be like if Francis Fukuyama wrote a new book and titled it The Even Further End of Civilization or whatever. Anyway, the book might still be good. It has a blurb by Bill Gates. All right, things are looking grimmer and grimmer, but let's take a look. The noted inventor and futurist successor to his landmark book, The Singularity is Near. Okay, but he's not a futurist if the future is dark to him. The future is dark to me. I don't call myself a futurist, but he wrote a book. Are we even going to know what the date was? It's like 30 years ago. 2005. He wrote The Singularity is Near in 2005. It wasn't near, and it still isn't. So, not much of a futurist. Since it was first published in 2005, Ray Kurzweil's The Singularity is Near and its vision of an exponential future have been influential in spawning a worldwide movement. Many of the author's predictions about technological advancements have been borne out, and their viability has become familiar to the public through now commonplace concepts as AI, intelligent machines, and biotechnology. In this entirely new book, well, see, you wouldn't have to, that's such a spurious clarification, right? The thing coming out in June is an entirely new book. But you wouldn't have to make that clarification if you came up with a different title. People are going to look at this and say, "Oh, I read that. What is this, a 25th year anniversary? This is a 20-year anniversary of they're reprinting it because you called it this, because you had to call it this instead of calling it something else." This is 2 letters away from the title of a book that millions of people read. So you are losing millions of potential readers who are going to look at this and say, "I already read that." And they won't have me around to correct them. I wish they did. I wish there was a Steve app on your phone so you could get me all the time. In this entirely new book, Ray Kurzweil brings a fresh perspective to advances toward the singularity, assessing his 1999 prediction that AI would reach human-level intelligence by 2029, and examining the exponential growth of technology that, in the near future, will expand human intelligence a millionfold and change human life forever. Among the topics he discusses are rebuilding the world atom by atom with devices such as nanobots, radical life extension beyond the current age limit of 120 years, reinventing intelligence by connecting our brains to the cloud, how exponential technologies are propelling innovation forward in all industries and improving all aspects of our well-being, such as declining poverty and violence, and the growth of renewable energy and 3D printing. Right, that's quite the list. We would be here all day if I went at that individually. Let's just pick just one thing, shall we? Just one little thing. How exponential technologies are propelling innovation forward in all industries and improving all aspects of our well-being. That is one of the claims that's being made here for the spiraling increase in technology, the steady upward increase in our well-being. So I want to address this next question to all of my listeners who are under the age of 25. Do you own a home? Are you debt-free? Do you own a car? Do you have a pension plan at your employment? I'd be willing to bet that for a large number of the listeners of this video under the age of 25, the answer to those questions is not only no, it's no with a scornful laugh, because you know you will never have those things. Never. That you will never be able to afford those things. There isn't a single member of Ray Kurzweil's generation who reached your age, the age you're at right now, and didn't have all of those things. So this is what happens when you pull a Steven Pinker and just withdraw into your Cambridge gated community. And the only person you ever meet who isn't in that community is Manuel, who is the guard at the gate. And every once in a while, when you're not really busy on your hands-free phone in your Tesla, you might remember to say hello to him. And from that contact, you think you know how things are going in Guatemala. You think you know how things are in the rest of the world. You don't. You don't. And this is just more of the same. Do you feel like your world is intensely getting better all the time? Do you feel that? Anyway, we've got this whole long list of things that is just, oh my God, it's all just so incredible. Reinventing intelligence by connecting our brain to the cloud. Yeah, you'll do that through Elon Musk's company. He's not going to monitor what you think. He's not going to tell you what to think. Let's see here. Where did we leave off? Oh, he also considers the potential perils of biotechnology, nanotechnology, and artificial intelligence, including such topics as current controversy as how AI will impact employment and the safety of autonomous cars, and afterlife technology, which will reanimate people who have passed away through a combination of data and DNA. Okay. All right. Well, that's just fine, isn't it? That is just fine. That in the near future, this technology will expand human intelligence a millionfold and change life forever. Right now, the gigantic lion's share of that technological innovation is happening in the United States. If the United States becomes a fascist autocracy, it will abandon that technology. It won't care about it at all. Maybe some kind of very needlepoint technology for keeping the leader alive. But helping the people? Pay up. How much can you pay? But it doesn't matter anyway how much you can pay, because we're not going to do any more advancement along these lines. We're going to abandon science in favor of what we can loot and steal. So it could be that Ray Kurzweil's first futurist prediction was nothing in its inaccuracies to this one. Could be. And then, oh my God. Okay. His bio note, just on the back of the book, is as long as the description of the book. So we're going to skip that. We're going to skip that. It's just him patting himself on the back. All right. Well, this comes out in late June, so I don't have to think about it right away. Pretty irritating, but I don't have to think about it right away. And then we've got one other book, and then we'll be done. This does not have to be a 30-minute mail haul at all. What have we got here? Oh, very nice. Okay, all right. This is huge. Okay. Great. This is Samantha Shannon. This comes out on March the 5th. Why am I? What? Sorry, I don't mean to sound like Joe Scarborough. I'm a little confused about this because I want to know what it is that I'm getting here. Okay, all right. This is the paperback of A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. Her enormous sequel to The Prior of the Orange Tree. Is that right? This is a standalone prequel to the Roots of Chaos series. It's coming out from Bloomsbury on the first week of March for $22. It's gorgeous, of course, but the cover is also heavily embossed. I don't know if you can really make that out, but virtually everything on the cover is embossed. Set 500 years before Prior of the Orange Tree, A Day of Fallen Night takes place in a world where a delicate balance between two branches of magic has been unsettled, yet again, with devastating consequences, and has everything readers want in high fantasy: strong women, masterful world building, and of course, dragons. That last is a quote from Barnes & Noble. That is not what every reader wants in high fantasy. That is not. That's what Twitter wants in high fantasy, and Twitter wants more than that. They want strong female characters and no strong male characters who aren't villains, which is not what normal people want. Non-ideologues don't want. Non-ideologues are not sexist. So they don't want the blanket 1,000-page demonization of one entire sex of the human race. They don't want that. It's gross to them, as it would be gross to anybody to say, you're whatever the sex being discriminated against is, whichever one it is. You're that, oh, then you're bad. Normal people aren't bigots, so they don't want to read that. But it does have really great world building. I wonder if I still have a copy of Prior of the Orange Tree. I might not. This Prior to the Orange Tree I loved, and it ranked really highly at my year-end list of science fiction and fantasy, even though it partook of a lot of things that I didn't love. It very much takes place in a world in which there are good guys and bad guys, but the substrata of bad guys is maleness. So some of those guys can be, sort of day drinking, purse puppy, beta male friends or allies. But if they have any kind of forthrightness or sense of purpose or strength at all, including physical strength, they're bad guys. Not because they have those things and those things have made them bad, but because they were born bad anyway. They were born male. Prior to the Orange Tree did partake of a lot of that. There was a lot of shoehorning. It was still terrific. Following the adventures of four women finding the strength to protect humankind from unimaginable threats. But they aren't unimaginable. They aren't unimaginable. They're Harvey Weinstein. You can imagine Harvey Weinstein. You've seen him on TV. They aren't unimaginable. They're men. This book showcases the author's brilliant and fresh reimagining of the legend of St. George and the Dragon through a feminist fantasy lens. Okay. Well, I think I need to get on to the publicist and find out if maybe I can, maybe there's a paperback of The Prior of the Orange Tree. I mean, it's March of the Mammoth season. After all, this thing certainly counts as a mammoth. Yeah, 868 pages. But so does The Prior of the Orange Tree, and it might be worthwhile rereading that before I reread this. And it is a series that I want to have. So, this author of Prior to the Orange Tree is on there, and it's a circle, but you can see the coloring, the design of the cover is part of the moon there. But all you people who watch Brita's channel, this sticker can come off and will come off. So there you go. That is our mail. One piece of nonfiction, one piece of fiction, both of them fantasies. The singularity is nearer, and Day of Fallen Night, a long ago prequel to the Priory of the Orange Tree. So there you go. That is the mail for today. More might be coming, but if it does, if I have the time, I will either do another video or I'll let it pile up and we'll do it tomorrow. But I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.